There, and welcome to another installment of the EdTech webinar series hosted by the ADE AES EdTech team, Karina, Kyle, and Kenneth. Today we're going to be featuring a tool called PlayPosit. Our objectives are going to be to understand how to utilize PlayPosit in a distance learning setting, and then also to walk through setting up a bulb. In future sessions, when we're live, we'll be taking questions about EdTech in general, whether it be the teacher verification model, time tracking, really anything that needs to be settled. We're here to help you out. So to start, what is PlayPosit? PlayPosit basically allows you to turn videos into fully interactive lessons. So rather than having students view an open-ended YouTube video and just consume the content, you'll actually be able to add interactions to the video that allow students to that stop the video at certain times and allow students to respond with what they've comprehended from the video, which makes it a pretty powerful tool. You can see above there's pictured a crash course video on heredity. This video has been stopped at a time designated by the teacher, and on the left-hand side in this sidebar, there is a question that students are to respond to. This happens to be a fill-in-the-blank question, but there are various types of interactions, as we'll go over right now. There are discussion interactions where the teacher can provide a prompt on the video. So the video will stop and students will be able to express their opinion. They'll also be able to reply to other students that have gone through and already posted something. There are also free response questions. So if you want something a little bit lengthier, students can write without any text limit, and teachers can go back and grade that response and provide feedback later. There are multiple choice checks. Multiple choice and check questions that automatically grade themselves, as well as fill in the blank questions. So let's go ahead and take a look at what students will see when they use PlayPosit. This is a quick video about global warming that I've used as an example. When a student starts up the video, it will play as normal. There's audio, but I have it muted right now. What I want to point your attention to is at the bottom on the navigation bar, there's a couple of these white bulbs. These bulbs are interactions, and the interactions are where the video will stop based on a predetermined point that I've chosen when creating the video. So it's going to ask the students a checkbox question about the causes of rising sea levels. And when the correct boxes are selected, it will indicate to the student that they are correct and how many points they've earned. If I click continue, the video will continue. I'm going to jump ahead so we can get through it for the sake of time. The next bulb is the fill in the blank section. As a teacher, I've provided the answers ahead of time, the possible answers for this blank. I'm going to intentionally incorrectly answer it. And I click submit. You can see that blank one was looking for these two responses. You can put in a comma separated list any number of responses that you anticipate students might put down to make those the correct answer. So it's a little more open-ended than the multiple choice questions. If I press continue, it will move forward. I'm going to jump to the next bulb here. And you'll see that there is a free response question. I'm just going to type whatever into the box. This will then be submitted to the teacher. You can see that rather than correct or incorrect, it's yellow and there's an asterisk instead of the amount of points the student received, because the teacher is going to need to go and review this and then submit a score and some feedback to the student later. And then finally, there's a discussion question. And so this is talking about politics and things. I'm just going to type, once again, anything into the box, and I press the arrow and it will post whatever my opinion is. I can go ahead and if I'm another student viewing this video later, that response will persist and I can reply to it with my reply. And that will be visible for future students that view the video. If you have multiple classes that are working with the same content, this could create a pretty rich discussion as a pretty powerful tool. The last bulb is just an arbitrary add-on to signify the end of this example, so I'm not going to jump into it. One thing to note is that teachers have the ability to allow students to go back through the video to look for information that they may have missed, or if it's treated more like a quiz, you can force students to forge on ahead. So I'm going to jump back here to the presentation. It's pretty simple to get started with PlayPosit. It'll look a lot like other online platforms if you use them before. You're going to want to sign in or sign up with probably with a Google account or an Office 365 account. You have those options, as well as a couple of additional options. And once you get signed in, you see in this third box right here, there's this blue button that says add new bulb. A bulb is PlayPosit's term for a video with interactions added to it, to put it simply, as we've just seen in the example. When you click add new bulb, the first and most important thing it's going to ask you for is to input a URL. I'm going to walk you through that process real quick so it's real clear how a teacher sees PlayPosit. So you can see I've jumped over to my dashboard where I can see all the videos that I've created. I'm going to go ahead and click add a new bulb, and you'll see it's going to open something called the director, or the designer, excuse me. The designer is where I am going to see that screenshot that I posted on the previous slide where it says input URL. The URL I'm going to pull in is from a video about learning English that I found on YouTube. Just found something really quickly, so we'll drop this into the input URL. I just copied the URL. I will paste it here. You'll see it says initializing video, and it will find the preview of the video. It will automatically input a title right here, and you can play the video if you want to see a preview of it. I already know what it looks like, so I'm going to just accept using the default title that they provided. I'm going to click done. Once I've done that, it's going to take me to a place to add interactions into the video. The first thing I want to do is I want to press play so you can see what this video looks like. So you can see that the video starts with an advertisement, which I think is fair for them to advertise their product. But for students that are learning English, I don't want to confuse them anymore than need be. So I'm going to cut that advertisement out, which is something that you can do with PlayPosit. This looks like 10 seconds is about where the video starts. So I'm going to go up to the scissors, and I'm going to take this green marker and I'm going to slide it up to 10 seconds. And that will trim out the advertisement at the beginning of the video. I'm also going to grab this red slider. I'm going to bring it down to the 3-minute marker. That's arbitrary, but I just want to show you that you can trim the ends of the videos, which is super helpful if you're trying to focus the content for your students. So I click done, and the video is now trimmed. It's a 2-minute, 50-second video. I'm not going to go into this, but you can also add other clips of videos to make kind of one edited together compilation of videos if you choose, which can help if one video doesn't quite address everything that you need. So I'm going to press play from here, and you'll see that it starts at that 10-second mark. It's going to take us into a little English lesson about how to greet people. Okay, and so as my teacher brain is starting to see a question here. In this lesson, we're going to learn new, more common ways to ask and answer, how are you in English? So I'm going to pause it right here, and I'm going to click this button to add an interaction here at 37 seconds. And what that's going to do is it's going to bring up a bunch of options of interactions that I want to add to the video. I'm going to click a short form response, a free response. And I'm going to type the question here, which is, what will you learn from this video? I'll click done. And then at 37 seconds, that question will pop up for students to answer. I'm going to move forward a little bit in the video because I'm assuming you know how to say how are you in English if you're watching this tutorial. So she goes through a bunch of ways to respond to how are you. I'm going to add an interaction here at 1 minute and 30 seconds as she's doing a little bit of a recap. I'm going to do a checkbox response. The question is going to be, well, really a question, more of a statement. Check all of the sentences that are common responses to how are you. Once again, these are covered in the video, so I'm not pulling these out of thin air. Good, but not bad. Not great. And we'll also add one more. We're going to put over there. These are all responses from the video except for over there. So I want to make sure I check the correct responses. And then once they're checked, I can go ahead and click done. Boom. And you can see right now we're starting to get a set of interactions in our video. It will display the time and it will also display what type it is along with the question that's asked. You can click these to customize them and edit them later if you choose. I'm going to go ahead and click towards the end. I'm going to navigate towards the end of the video and add. At the very end, I'm going to add a poll question. You can see you can poll your students if that's something you choose to do. Which response do you prefer when someone asks, how are you? And you can really anything you want in here. I'm not going to worry about it too much. You can add other options. And then when you're done, you click done. And that'll allow students to express themselves with a little bit of anonymity to kind of ease them into speaking English at a basic level. So we've got 3 interactions that we've added to the video. Once we're all done and we're satisfied with our video, our bulb, we're going to go to review. You can place a learning objective in here. You can change the title. You can tag it for searching. There's a repository that PlayPosit has of public videos that are made that allows teachers to search for content that has been created by other teachers. And then there are, as I mentioned earlier, some playback options that allow learners to rewind after an interaction appears. That can be positive if you're trying to make a low pressure scenario and just make sure that key points are met rather than forcing students to move forward. And I want to apply these to all the interactions that I've placed. Yeah, that's great. Allow learners to skip interactions. I could see that could be helpful if you want to make a really low pressure scenario or have them watch the whole video and then come back. So you have a couple of ways to customize your bulb. I'm going to save my changes. I'm going to save and exit. And then you'll see that video, that bulb that I created will appear in my dashboard. And if I go all the way over here to the right under actions, I can assign that bulb to a class. I'm not going to go into how to create a class because there are resources that are provided by PlayPosit on how to do that. And also, if you need help, you can reach out to myself, Kyle Boyson, or the rest of the EdTech team, and we would be more than happy to help you. You can see that I have a class here that was for a training that was done earlier in the year. I'm going to click on a date to assign it a due date. I'm going to click on the 20th, and I'll press OK. It looks like midnight is the default. And I can grab the assignment link from here, and I can send that out to my class. Or if they're enrolled in the class already, then they're going to see it. And then I can close out, and my students will have been assigned to that task. So that's generally how PlayPosit works. There's a little bit more nuance and some more advanced tricks that might be worth getting into, but I'll let you play with that. So go ahead and jump on, play with it, figure out what questions you have. As I said, we're more than happy to help. And in future sessions on Wednesdays, all the way to June 3rd, we're going to be available showcasing another tool as well as answering any EdTech questions. So please show up from 11 to 12 on Wednesdays, and we'll be there to help you out. Thank you for taking the time. Hope you're staying safe and healthy, and have a great rest of your day.